Singles Only podcast time. My name is Farahvar. I am your host. On this episode, we have entertainer, speaker, producer, writer, author, Mss Francois. This is a fun episode. If you're listening to this, you can go watch it on YouTube because it was done via Zoom. Subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. Subscribe to the Singles Only section. We're on multiple platforms. We're trying to streamline that for 2021. I don't know where you're listening right now, but go check it out. Make sure it's Singles Only and subscribe. Review us if you haven't reviewed us in a while. And come see me live. paulfcomedy.com has all my dates. I will be in Florida, in St. Petersburg this week, and then I'm back in Chicago and Rosemont in May. So check it out. And as always, check out our sponsors. Hey, all, you guys know that I used to be a lawyer. Still am, but, kind of just in the background, if you will. But my friend, Scott Shapiro, he is a full-time lawyer. You guys maybe have injured on the job, need compensation, or you're just injured somewhere and you don't know what to do. You're entitled to way more money than you think you are sometimes. Not always, but most of the time. And my friend, attorney Scott Shapiro, has been helping people for over 20 years in this regard. If you've been injured, give him a call, 312-648-8800, or email him at scott@scottshapirolegal.com. He's a full-service law firm, so in addition to doing workers' comp cases, PI cases, he also handles all legal needs, including entertainment law. That's right, he's an entertainment lawyer. He's worked on a lot of musicians' cases, a lot of contracts, negotiations, and reviews of contracts for your needs, whether you're a comedian, musician, all that good stuff. All his consultations are free of charge initially, so don't take a chance and wait. Call him, 312-648-8800, or check out his website, scottshapirolegal.com. Call him today. Tell him I sent you. You will not regret it. It's time for another edition of Singles Only Podcast. My name is Farahvar. I'm so excited. We're doing this podcast via Zoom. I'm excited for our guests. If you haven't already subscribed and all that stuff, but you guys already heard that on the intro. Our next guest, or our guest tonight, is an entertainer, speaker, producer, writer, author. She's amazing. I've only gotten a few minutes to talk to her, but I'm already excited to talk to her because we disagree about some stuff. Please welcome Mss Francois.
Wait, I don't get any applause or anything?
Everyone is applauding. So for those of you, hi, Mss Francois. For those of you that are listening, you might want to go on to my YouTube page at Paul F. Comedy to watch this. This is going to be a fun episode. Mss Francois, you're lovely to do this show. I really appreciate it. I already looked you up. You're also an expert on relationships.
Well, make sure I'm an expert at after the relationship has ended. Okay. I'm not in a relationship, so I'm not an expert in relationships, just getting over them.
You're good at getting over them, right? That's right. You talked about ways to get over a breakup, how to keep a long distance relationship. We'll get into all that stuff. Why is it that you're so good at recovering from the relationships, but you're not good at keeping them? What do you see as the flaw?
For me personally, and I think it even goes to other people, is how you feel about yourself. And that's why a lot of things should focus on personal development, like loving yourself, understanding what exactly you want and you need in your life. Because a lot of times when you get into relationships, females especially, we're so emotional, we focus on that other person, and then we lose ourselves a lot of the times.
Well, I think a lot of people at some point in a relationship, whether it's 1 year in or 10 years in, you do lose yourself. A lot of your personal growth is stifled in a relationship. That's my argument on the podcast.
But apparently that's your relationships.
You agreed with me in a way that, people, you lose yourself, you lose some of your growth, your individual growth when you're combined with somebody. No matter in any situation, I think that happens.
My thing is, it's okay. I don't want to say lose. To me, when you with that person, they're both supposed to be adding. So you should both be growing. It's now you're just growing together instead of separate.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes, I know I sound very smart. Just as beautiful as I look, I sound very
Your
intelligent.
accent, when you say, you can say anything you want, and we're gonna be like, yeah, she's pretty smart. I mean, she's got an accent. So what? Let's talk about you personally then. What was the longest relationship you've been into, Miss Francois?
7 years.
Okay, 7 years. We're gonna get back to that magic number.
I know that's
Used to
funny.
be a point of contention with you and I about my contract idea, but when did that end? Let's start with that. What was that? Your
Oh, that was one of my earlier, your first love of your life kind of stuff. So that ended many moons ago, like maybe 15 plus years ago. And that 7 year relationship should have ended on the second year. But again, you lose yourself and you make up excuses for the person. And then it just stretched on to that period of time. I hope you're
Okay.
watching.
Okay. When was the last time you were in a relationship? How long?
A serious relationship, 2018.
2018, and how long
Yeah.
was the relationship?
Well, that's when it ended, I should say. So it was 2016 to 2018. So like a year and a half.
Okay. And why did that end? Let's start with that one.
Well, he liked prostitutes and I didn't.
He liked them on his own, or he wanted
No, he liked them on his own.
Oh wow, okay. Well,
I didn't feel like catching an STD at the time, so I had to let that go.
Okay, fair enough. And then the other one, so in the last 2 years, it's been 2.5 years now. Have you gone on dates, or how are you meeting people now?
Okay, obviously you're not seeing what I look like. Okay, this is 5'5". Okay, caramel complexion, total perfection. Okay, so of course I've been on several dates. Who wouldn't want to date me? So I don't have a problem attracting the person. I have a problem picking the person, because
Okay.
there's always a long line, but I just be picking. Oh my goodness, I'm just bad at picking. So
Okay.
I've had little stints here and there. And I think as time progressed, compared to when you were 16 or 25, you hold hands, you go to McDonald's, you go to the movies, you're in love. Now is like, where's your resume? What are the benefits in your job? It's so different when you're dating at when you're older or more mature. It's just totally different.
Well, when you say you're having a problem picking them, are you picking the guys and you like them, and then something pops up after a couple of dates and you're like, okay, next? Or is it a situation where you're attracting all these guys and they're bad, and you realize?
No, there's a mixture. What I realized recently when I spoke to someone a few months ago is that, say they tell me something, like you can make love to my brain. So sometimes you tell me the right things, I'm in love, and I don't wait long enough to see the action that follows. And when I'm not even seeing the action, I'm making up excuse. Well, he gonna do that next month, and he gonna do that next week, and time keep passing, and nothing's necessarily wrong with the person. But as Maya Angelou says, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. I just don't believe them.
You fall for what you hear, what you want to hear, and then you just your eyes are focused on the good, and then you don't see the red flags that are popping up.
Oh my God, you should be my therapist.
I'm telling, I'm a dating expert. I know what I'm doing here. We're not some idiot over here, Miss. So okay, so how are you meeting these guys? Are you using apps? Are you meeting them in real life, or both?
So I'm old school and new school. So I do the online dating. You go to the laundromat, someone meets you. Before COVID, I did a lot of conferences. Even now, there's still a lot of stuff with Zoom. So to me, I meet them any and everywhere. So there's not one particular place that I meet someone.
Okay. And what are the type of guys that you generally are attracting, whether it's physical appearance or
Okay, so my man looks just like Trevor Noah in my head.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So you see Trevor Noah, that's what my man's supposed to look like.
So that's your physical type.
Physical type, but also why I said Trevor Noah, very educated, intelligent, because as I said, you could be a little ugly, but at least you have to be able to make love to my brain.
Sure.
Okay. So I don't mind talking to a Trevor Noah, but if he starts to speak things that doesn't make any sense, or speaking a certain dialect, I'm not into yo, or let me talk to, you can't talk to me. Okay. So there's a level, but Trevor Noah is overall my kind of guy. You know him?
Yeah, I don't know him. Actually, my friend is his opener for all his shows on the road before COVID. So
Okay, so then you need to be hooking things up, okay? This
Ah,
must be a reason.
no, I don't have that kind of pull. I think he's married, isn't he?
No, he's not, okay? He not too long broke up with a girl, so I was like, that's my end.
Okay, so you're doing your research. What if the guy looks like Trevor Noah? Why can't you just date someone who looks like him and is also educated?
Right, no, that's fine. That's why I said he's
Right.
just Trevor Noah look. That's what I'm typically attracted to. But I'm pretty much open. So I don't go, okay, if you don't look like Trevor Noah, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm open. That's why I say if you can make love to my brain, then you have an end.
What are the ways that people have made love to your brain? That what are the things that all of a sudden make you go, okay,
Okay, so I'm very driven. So my thing is I like for you to talk about the goals that you have accomplished in the past. And again, we continue to evolve. So there must be new goals that you're going up against or trying to reach. So that's one of the things that I totally love. So goal-oriented, driven kind of person, that's sexy to me.
okay. So so you hear all that and then you're all in, but then you forget that sometimes people have personal goals or professional goals, and those don't necessarily correspond with
No,
priority.
you know what it is? Someone will tell me, like, I dated someone, tell me all his goals, all the things he gonna do, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God, wow. Then say he gonna start a business. He'll start all the paperwork, then don't file it, right? Or he'll take a long period of time. And I'm someone that encourage people. So sometimes I'm like, okay, they need a little nudging. Then he'll file the paperwork, but then don't do anything for another 6 months.
Okay.
And I keep thinking it's gonna happen. So I stay there longer because I'm believing in him more. I believe in them more than they believe in themselves. So
But if they're
that's just draining me.
professionally successful or driven, how does that translate into prioritizing a healthy personal relationship with you?
Because, okay, so being that they're driven, I'm also driven.
Right.
So they understand, example, beside my regular job, I have a TV show and all the other things that I'm doing.
Right.
So I believe someone that's driven and goal oriented would understand the things that I'm doing and
Right.
not saying, oh, well, you're too busy or you don't have time. It's more like understanding and communication.
Yeah,
I'm
no, that's great. And I like that you said that. I think for me as well, I like to date people that are driven. They have their own shit going on. So I don't have to, there's no guilt that we're not spending time together.
Yes,
And
because I've had that already. Like,
yeah,
oh, you just have me here, you're not, but that's because you're not doing anything in your
right.
life. So now I'm supposed to be texting you every 2 seconds. Like, yeah, I just walked out the store. Yeah, I'm just coming in the house. Yeah, I'm just going to the bathroom. Come now.
Well, that's also one reason that I prefer to have a long distance relationship, because I feel like that distance gives you the honeymoon period where your relationship is always healthy and happy and fun. You don't have to deal with the drama and the work of a relationship. And also, you're working on yourself, they're working on themselves in 1,000 miles away.
Right now, Paul, you're making love to my brain. Go ahead.
Well, I know you said that you wrote in your that you wrote 5 ways to keep a long distance relationship working.
Right, because I've had long distance relationships before. And you know what? Again, communication, long distance relationship, number one is definitely communication. If you don't have that, you don't have anything, because let's be real, you could have a guy that's next door and he's cheating and you don't even know he's cheating.
Right.
So, you know,
What are you looking for, a monogamous traditional relationship with one person, or do you want to have a guy in every continent?
okay, I'm leaving the show now. As they say, traditional, just one and one.
One.
Yes.
Okay, but why do you think that works? Because I mean, you're a smart woman. You know that it's not
Okay,
natural.
Paul, whatever you into, that's what you into. If the other thing works for you, great for you. But this is what I say. Everybody is different. And it have some men out there that don't mind having one person because in their mind they can't share their woman, who share me. So to me, to each his own. If you like 12 different women and a woman in every state or country, that's fine. My thing is I'm not gonna judge you, but don't try to force your thing on me.
Right,
I want one man, one penis, one vagina. That's it.
Okay. Well, you don't want to share your guy with anybody.
Yeah.
You also are not going to be sharing. You're not.
No, I don't want to have to go to jail. Correct.
Well, do you want to get married? Is that your goal?
Yes, that is my goal. Thank you.
Why? Why do you want to get married?
What do you mother?
You can swear. I don't care. Why? What's the purpose?
To me, I think part of it is the way I grew up also.
You
And so
have
I
to
grew
grow
up
up.
in church. Now my parents are not together, but I think for the main part of my like nurturing years in the beginning, like coming home and seeing my mom, my dad, that whole mom dad situation, I think I do love that. For me, it's more wholesome, it's a certain loving environment. That's what I understand and that's what I gravitate to. So that's something that I would want for myself because
When
it
did your,
means something to me.
when did your parents separate?
Oh, thank God they separated. That was a long time ago. I was like 11.
Okay, so you were young when they separated. Okay.
Yes,
And where did you grow up?
in Trinidad and Tobago,
Yeah, that's
one
great.
of the greatest islands on earth and the 10 sexiest accents in the world. Thank you.
My ex-girlfriend in college was from Trinidad. Her father was from Trinidad, and
I-
he was the swimmer in your Olympics. He get silver medal against
Oh,
both
really?
kids. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
I remember that was a long time ago as well. But it's a beautiful country. I've never been there. I didn't make it to the invite level of the relationship.
I
But
wonder who fault that was, Paul.
it's probably my fault. I
Oh,
was
okay.
young. I was 21 years old. But
Oh, that's the excuse we're using. Okay,
yeah,
age.
I'll go with that. And also, she started dating someone else much better looking and much handsomer and much more successful than I was. So and maybe that's why I have a show now. That's the start of a pattern. But okay, so you want to get married. You like the traditional idea. Do you want to have children? Do you want to? What's the?
No, I do definitely have one the family. And for instance, I have 8 brothers and sisters. So again, growing up in that kind of environment, I still because even said when I was small, my mom tell me stories how I wanted to have 10 kids, and I was the child that I could cook, I could sew. So that's what I helped my brothers. Like when my mom left, I was the one taking care of my brothers and my sisters at that time. So I just think it's something that I fell into, but something that I love. It's just I can't find it when I'm older and grown. I don't know what the problem is. Do you know what the
Where are
problem
you
is,
in the
Paul?
birth order of the family? Were you the oldest?
I'm the third born.
Third? Okay.
Yeah, but I'm still the boss, so it don't really matter.
The oldest woman? Or
No, I have a brother and a sister, and then me.
okay, so you're a middle child. Okay, that makes sense.
Well, it's well, not
Oh,
really,
many, yeah. Well,
but yes.
what I just don't understand what okay, so are your brothers and sisters, are they all married? Are they in relationships?
Yeah, most of them are actually.
Okay.
It's only one of them just like have whoring tendencies, but most of them is married and have kids and stuff like that.
What's a whoring tendency to you? What is the
A
definition?
whoring tendency is one woman inside, one woman right outside. They might end up fighting. That kind of whoring behavior. And by the time you walk down the street, somebody else waiting down the street for you. That's a different level.
He's got girls in all different zip codes. It makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean he looks like me, so it makes sense. But still,
Okay, and are your brothers and sisters, are they happily married, do you think? Are all of them in happy marriages?
let me see. The Honestly, yes. One of my, especially one of my sisters, I actually admire how their relationship is because they have one daughter and like everything they do, they tend to do as a family. And you don't see that often, and it's genuine. So that one I definitely admire. And my brother, the way he treats because that's my sister and one of my brothers, the way he treats his wife and the way he talk about his wife, you would swear she was the only woman in the entire world.
Oh,
And
wow.
especially when it coming from your brother, it's kind of weird, but cool. But I respect him for that.
Have any of them been married for over 7 years?
They've been together for a long time, but marriage, as in the document, let me see.
No.
Simply. Oh yeah,
That's a
no,
magical
everybody
number.
is at like 5 years, but they've been together with the person way longer.
I know, but I think the 7 year of a marriage is the
Yeah, that's your number.
yeah, you said you disagree. For those of you who haven't listened before, I've talked about it before. I want to create a 7-year renewable marriage contract to take away the pressure of marriage being till death do you part, and to take away the shame of divorce, and also to keep the relationship, exciting in the contract year. Baseball players, their contract year, they try to work harder if they want to stay on the team and get a better contract. And then people that give up on the team, they just, they sit it out. They say, I'm going to wait these last 6 months out, let the contract expire. Hands clean. Your hands are clean to the relationship. You walk away.
And they see that
roll
I'm
in your eyes. Tell me why you disagree with this.
So first of all, a marriage is not baseball. There's many other people in a team like baseball.
Sure.
So I don't know what thing you're trying to compare it to. But my thing is, just like you said, the 7-year taking the pressure off. I hear that taking the pressure off, but at the same time, that could actually be a negative, because at the same time, you're like, thank God, the 7 years is coming. I could get rid of this person.
Right.
I feel like the same thing you're saying. It's just it could happen the opposite. Because I'm like, 7 years coming. I really don't like how she comb my hair, how she snores at the night. Thank God I could just cancel everything and just move on and get something else.
No, then you have a negotiable issue to resolve. Say, hey, I like this agreement. Everything's good. There's 2 issues I have. Number 1, you chew with your mouth open. Number 2, I don't know.
But you're saying no, but it should, to me, since it's a relationship, you're supposed to be working on this all the time. You shouldn't be waiting for the 7th year to be talking about this.
Right, but obviously during the 7 years of the you're still communicating with your spouse.
Right, but it sounds like even though you're communicating, at the 7th year, you're like, aha, so let me get my folder, let me get my book, let me get the videotape and all the things that you do and didn't do.
There's no videotape. It's just you don't need exhibits. You just say, hey, I told you in year 3, I don't like your snoring. I don't like your chewing with your mouth open. I don't like that you gained 10 pounds. I want you to work on these things.
You're the worst, Paul.
I'm just saying, these are things
I know.
people have said to me. These are things that people have said to me. So I'm just saying, let's try to, those are things that you can, and the thing is a lot of people, like you said earlier, you were in a relationship for 7 years. It should have been done in the 2nd year. A lot of people I know are in relationships, they're sticking it out for, whether it's because they want to, for their kids, or they don't want to get divorced because their religion frowns on it, or their parents will be disappointed in them. There's all this shame, and the divorce is the most stressful thing someone can deal with. And they listed death, and then they divorce as one of the biggest things that people. No, it's a true thing. You're like,
just what you're saying.
People, it's like the same thing. I think marriage is like a death sentence, but whatever, it's all.
But it's to me, I hear you, but to me it still have to do with the people in it. Because so to me, if you're working on it and it's just like you said, with the pressure off, if you know this is till death do you part, you should be continue to work on it. You should be trying to make it exciting. You should be doing all the kinky stuff to keep that part. You should be working constantly because this is, you will die here.
Yeah.
But if that 7 year gives you a way out, you're not going to work as hard. I know me, because honestly, I could already see it. 7 years. All right. Okay. All right. So anyway, I already packed my bags. The house, I fill out all these forms, just sign here.
Okay. Let's say you're in a successful relationship. Let me give you you get married. You're 5 years into a contract. All of a sudden you read on the news that Trevor Noah has gotten divorced. He's in this hypothetical, he was married.
Yes.
In the future. And you and him run into each other on the streets of New York, and you guys end up having a good friendship. You're not cheating on your husband. He's leaning on you as his emotional support. And then you guys develop a bond, right? But you never physically act on it. But you're 5 years into your marriage, and then all of a sudden you decide, wait a minute, I don't know, are you already cheating on your husband because you're emotionally connected to somebody else, or what do you do? What do you do in that situation?
So this is my situation. Even forget the marriage part. Once you're in a relationship or whatever, people be putting themselves into situations. Nothing just happens. A bond don't just happen. Nothing to me just happens. Okay. First of all, I know I love me some Trevor Noah, right?
Sure.
What the hell I do and be like, oh, we're running. Okay, we have coffee. But then all of a sudden, oh, we have a connection. We're meeting for some dinner. Again, it's supposedly platonic or whatever.
Yeah,
But
it's
you put
fine.
in your, to me, that's people putting themselves in a situation that something could possibly happen. And then
Nothing
right,
happened.
nothing happened, but nothing happened physically.
It's up in 2 years. If you're in my situation, if you're in my marriage, the 7-year contract, 2 years goes by, and you have to decide between your existing husband or a
Oh my
possibility
God.
of something
You
new and
no,
exciting.
Paul.
Trevor Noah.
Paul,
Trevor Noah.
Paul, you planning too much, and that is wrong. My thing is,
I'm
you
just,
planning, but just before you sign the contract, you're already planning that there's a high possibility of you leaving the contract.
I'm giving you an example of why a marriage is an outdated institution. The way the traditional marriage is, they need to update we update everything else. Why aren't we updating
And
marriage?
that's fine. And remember, in the whole thing in the beginning, before you tried to fight me down, I said I have no issues with all the updating or whatever. But some people, even though some people want to update, some people don't update their phones, right? Not everybody gonna want to update everything. Some people like where they are, and if it's working, then leave those people alone.
So,
Paul, leave me alone.
so in your situation, let's just say that happened. What are you going to do if Trevor Noah, you're 5 years into your marriage, you're happy, it's very comfortable, you guys live in New York, and you're happy, you guys have coffee every morning together, he's off doing his work, he's a successful stockbroker, everything's exciting, and then after 5 coffees with Trevor Noah, do you just say, hey Trevor, I can't see you anymore, even though
Honestly,
after
the second coffee, I will not be seeing Trevor Noah anymore
and
because I love him.
regret that every time you fight with your husband, you're gonna, in the back of your head, you're gonna be like, "What the fuck did I do? I should have stuck it out."
But you see how how you already again. I do not. You should not be putting yourself in those situations for that even to arise. And if you love your husband or you love your wife, there's always boundaries. And I think that's people's problem. They don't know where the boundaries lie. And then you know what they say after? It just happened. Oh my God! Nothing just happens.
Fair enough. So what?
Thank you, Paul.
Okay, that makes sense. Good argument. You stuck your gun.
I know.
like that. What? So you said you're successful at being after a relationship. You're good at that. What is it that makes you good at the time after a breakup or after heartbreak?
Well, I think first of all is a certain amount of breakups you've been in, you learn something new about yourself. Relationship is one thing, but you keep learning things about yourself, and maybe something that I needed to work on. And because of certain things that I do develop as time goes on, like some of the steps, like having the right friends, their confidence, reaching out to God, meditation, whatever the case might be, it just makes me into a better person. So instead of some people, for instance, get out of a relationship and a year later, they can't wait to tell you, Paul, the same story. And it's been a year and they're still not over the situation. So, I mean, it's different things we need to do. So some people just over focus. So for instance, if I was to get in a relationship, not like now you're supposed to be like somewhat like protecting your heart. Like I'm a kind of person, I love hard. So by the time you talk to me the first and second week, I'm in love. I already see the kids, what they're looking like, where we living, what we doing. And that's something I have to pull back from. Hey, I'm a dreamer.
Do you think that you're projecting that on your relationship or your dates to the guys? Like they see that the wheels are already spinning when they're making love to your mind?
My thing is I think that's more in the past. In the most recent times, a lot of guys, because I have amazing energy,
Sure.
they're the ones planning those things for me, which is a total switch from what it was before. But again, because say someone see your potential, or not even potential, whoever I am as a person, and they're like, oh my God, she'll make a good wife, or she'll do this. So they start planning their stuff. But at the same time, they're not even ready.
Yeah.
So they're feeding me stuff. And sometimes I start to believe, and then they're not ready. And then when I decide, okay, maybe this is right, all of a sudden they're trying to get their stuff together. And that's why I said I have to pay attention, that I have to see the work more than the words.
Well, in the last relationship you had, it was about 2 years, but that was you're the one that made the decision to walk away, obviously.
Yes.
How did
Just trying to stay healthy.
were you upset? Were you kind of relieved to find out what was happening, or were you also heartbroken too that you had
No,
to
that was heartbreaking because that particular person was the one planning to go get a house. Like he was planning out the whole future. And being that woman is normally the one planning this stuff. When a man is planning this stuff, you're even more excited. You can't wait to tell your girlfriend, your mom, like, oh my God, he said this. So he's actually planning all these things. And then I always tell someone, I say, honestly, if I did not find out, I would be in a nice little house with a nice little car, well taken care of, me doing my stuff, beautiful kids. And I honestly, I would have been happy because honestly, I didn't know because was with me 8 days out of the week, 25 hours a day. And you're like, when did he find time to do anything?
Right. How did he find time?
Sometimes I don't even know. But again, remember, I'm busy. So certain times, like his job, he would be like they do that layoff thing ever so often, and I have work. So I guess he found time. Again, you find time for what you want to do and what you enjoy.
Have you are you guys shut down there too with the quarantine? What's going on where you're at?
Oh, life is regular here. You wouldn't even know. You forget. The only time you remember is COVID is when you see someone with a mask. But other than that,
where are you exactly?
In New York.
Okay, are you going on dates? Have you been going on dates
recently? Oh yeah, I went on one on Monday. I went on one yesterday.
What's the typical date with Mss Francois? Where do you take them, or where do you allow them to take you?
Well, I would rather something simple because I'm like I don't like too much dinners because I'm like, first of all I have to, overdress up, be cute or whatever, and then next thing two sentences in, I can't stand you, your breath stink. I don't want to just walk off and leave you there. So sometimes I just rather like a simple walk in the park or something. But the one I had on Monday, it's two different guys, of course. I know, check me, I hope they're not listening. Then again, I don't really care.
On Monday or one on Monday?
One was Monday and then one was Sunday.
Sunday,
Ooh,
okay.
2 dates in a week, what?
Okay, that's fine. So Monday what was the date? What did you do on the Monday date?
So the Monday date, we did meet up somewhere. We meet up halfway and we just had like something to eat, nothing big, nothing that fancy, more like in a bar kind of something.
Daytime, nighttime?
A nighttime.
Okay.
So it was like in the evening, like 7 o'clock or whatever.
Just like a casual dinner.
Yeah. And the one yesterday was more, it was at 4 o'clock, but it was more dinner. He bought me flowers. I was like, what the hell?
First date?
Yes, I thought it was awesome.
How did you meet these two guys? Tell me.
Online.
Okay, what do you use? What?
Right now, well, before I was using a bunch, but Plenty of Fish.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so
that's good. I don't know. I've never used that one, so.
I've used
pretty
much almost all of them.
So how did these 2 dates end? Are you going to have second dates with Monday Bob and
Monday? No, because he was not driven whatsoever. Because if you're 39 and you don't have a driver's license, that's a problem. Okay. And talking about why you women today can't work with men. If you can't work on yourself, how am I supposed to work with you?
How do you find out that they're not driven? I mean, maybe he just had a bad incident with the car. What else?
Oh no, I see, that's my problem. And typically I would make that excuse for the person, but it's not that he had an issue with the car. He went to get the learner's permit. He failed, so he never went back. So he never had a driver's license.
But that was when he was a kid, when he was younger?
I didn't hang around long enough to find out. That's not my son.
But that was a deal breaker? You're like, you don't have a license?
That was a deal breaker, okay? Besides that, he didn't have a job, which is fine to me. If you could give me a decent half reason, okay, I know we have COVID, but this is my mentality. Even if I was to lose my job right now, I have several different things I could fall back on. Yeah. You understand? He has nothing to fall back on because he wasn't, again, to me, even if he said the reason he didn't go back to take the test is because he got busy at his job, his 12-hour days. That is an excuse. That is.
Does he know that you're not going to go on another day with him yet, or you think?
Oh yeah, I just texted him and said we're not a match, and then he was very disrespectful. My thing is, why two people can't have a conversation and be like, okay, we're not a match. Maybe you ask me why, and you move on. His last text to me was, "Oh, that's how I'm gonna be." Some other word, and I would never find anyone to be happy with. To me, that's a reflection on you. That's your problem.
Guys have very small egos. So
But I wasn't even mean. I just said we was not a perfect match. I don't, and that's what something you learn. It doesn't make sense wasting my time. I find out I don't want to say wasting it like 7 years when I could have been done with it in 2 years.
Sure.
But I'm not doing that now. I have like 2 more eggs left, okay, and I'm trying to hold on to them as long as possible. Right now, my legs are closed.
You have 2 more what left? 2 more
Eggs.
eggs. You have 2. So okay. So that was the first date. What of Sunday? Is he getting a second date?
Well, honestly, he was amazing. I don't know if that's something he does all the time, but all I'll say is, even if I never see him again, I am happy that I had an amazing time, an amazing date. And I think that's my attitude now compared to the before. It's like, oh my God, and he's staring at the phone, and why didn't he call, and why didn't he text? That's too much work. And that's something.
Yeah, it's a positive. You had a good experience. Even with the guy you didn't like, you learned more about yourself too. I mean, it's all these are good. I think the silver lining, even bad dates are good dates. For comedians, it's a good date if you get some shit anyway. But also, it's just you learn a lot about the situation. What's a recent date that you've had that you're just like, I'm never doing that again? Like where you learned something from the thing where you're like, this is like, even if it's a Maya Angelou quote where you're like, oh, I should have seen this coming. Like what was a date? Did you have a situation like that recently?
No, honestly, I've never had like a bad date. I mean, because I think it's up to you yourself. Like my attitude, it's kind of hard to have a bad date with me. I make sure the date that day is great, but as soon as we separate, no. But I've always had good dates. Yeah. I'm a fun person.
How did they get to the second date with you then? This guy obviously did. And when are you attempting the physical relationship with these guys? When are you seeing if there's physical chemistry? Now, I'm not asking like, do you just do it when you know, or do you have like a rule that you're like, all right, I'm not going to do anything?
Oh, okay. So you kind of froze out. You're talking about like sex? How does sex enter?
Or just a physical connection, whether there's other things besides sex. Get your mind out of the gutter, Mss Francois.
Oh, I said you froze. I didn't know what you said.
This is part of it. But yeah, like I think that I've had relationships where you wait too long and then you have no physical chemistry with the person. And to
me, that's each individual person, because you have different relationship experts. Like Steve Harvey said, the 90 days, like everybody have whatever. To me, at the end of the day, it's 2 people. Because some people could have sex on the first date or do a bunch of stuff on the first date and then be together forever. Then the opposite. So to me, it's 2 people knowing what they want.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, like yesterday, I kissed a guy and that was like amazing. The stuff where everything just moves all over. Huh?
The stomach feeling in the stomach.
Yeah, like all the tingly stuff. That's awesome. So to me, I mean,
did he try to make it more than a kiss? Did he say,
no, I think the kind of person he gave off, he's not that kind of person. Again, he could be saying that in his mind, but whatever he projected was very positive, was very gentlemanlike. Like it was raining yesterday. He had the umbrella, making sure he's the kind of guy that opens the door, or when you're walking on a sidewalk, he makes sure he's at the edge of the sidewalk. So he was a little like old school. So that was kind of nice.
Excellent. Yeah, no, wow, maybe this is going to be maybe this show is going to be your good luck charm. And this guy, Flowers Bob or whatever his name is. It's gonna be the one.
And you know what's the best part with the flowers? It wasn't even corner store flowers. You have those little canteens at the side. He looked like he actually went into a floral place and bought it, because I was like, damn, hope he don't go out with every date like this. He'll be broke. But It was beautiful.
Well, maybe he doesn't go on a lot of dates, and maybe not all of them are Mss Francois.
So. That is true. And you do know what MSS stands for, right?
No, tell me.
Multi-talented and super sexy.
I like it. Well, Mss Francois, we are out of time. This was so much fun.
I know.
We have to have you back on the show 100%. When you have more dating stories, or if you have more reasons to disagree with me, or if you go on a date with Trevor Noah.
I'll definitely call you so you can hate on me.
Where can people find out more about you and all the different shows, entertaining stuff that you have going on?
Well, I make it easy for people. Once you type in the MSS_Francois, I'm on all social media. So the Instagram, the Facebook, the YouTube channel, the Twitter, anything, MSS Multi-Talented and Super Sexy Francois, and they will find me. Oh, even check out my website. They could definitely find me.
Awesome. Please, everybody. please check out Mss Francois. I really appreciate you coming on the show. I'm so glad we connected, and I definitely want to stay in touch and hear about your journey, even though I disagree with about 50% of what you say.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Paul. This was pretty awesome.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for listening to another episode of Singles Only Podcast.